I mean, it's shocking. In many ways, I'm quite glad for like new media and all of that, because I can imagine how many people in the past have been victim to the kind of stunts that Blake Lively and her husband have pulled, now apparently in conjunction with Taylor Swift, who has oddly decided to distance herself from the couple, which is an interesting development. Look, I went through the 160-page timeline and evidence document that Justin published on his website in detail, as well as what he presented to the court, because it was fascinating.
It was fascinating.
I mean, if even only half of what he's saying is true, Blake Lively is a complete nightmare. This is an actress that was hired to be in the film, and yet she's asking the director, who's also her lead, for the cuts and the edits, and she's decided to take over the wardrobe, and she gets to choose her wardrobe and they pay for it. That's unprecedented. No one's ever heard of that. And then she has the audacity to call her husband and Taylor Swift her dragons, and that Justin Baldoni and the producer tried to sexually harass this woman, this mad hatter who no sane man would go near with a 10-foot barge pole. It is so offensive and so ridiculous. I mean, I urge everyone to just read through everything that Justin Baldoni.
It is utterly shocking. It's compelling.
Shocking.
I mean,
In her revised lawsuit, Blake Lively makes a shocking revelation. 2 other actresses from It Ends With Us are said to be supporting her accusations against Justin Baldoni, portraying him as seriously troubling. Although their identities haven't been disclosed, these actresses are reportedly ready to come forward. Strangely, The Hollywood Reporter has not addressed the escalating situation. At the same time, Piers Morgan, known for courting controversy, has shifted his focus to Hollywood, openly condemning the industry as the scandal gains momentum.
Sort of unprecedented that stars of this magnitude would dish it all out in public to this extent. I mean, she began with, I think, the New York Times, very well orchestrated, obviously, onslaught against him. And I read all that and thought, wow, poor Blake Lively. I've got to say, I'm not really thinking that now. The more I've read about this, the more I think stain on all your gruesome houses. The publicists involved, the actors involved, everybody involved seems to be absolutely horrible.
Well, you say we haven't seen it before, but we kind of have with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Well, that's true, yeah. But that only came out in the end in court, right?
And I mean, Johnny did something I think a lot of people took notes to. Like,
yeah, that's true.
A receipt. He dropped all the evidence. And I think Team Justin, which, you know, same PR rep who repped Johnny, who was behind this, Blake sort of saw that as, oh, you're trying to use an Amber Heard tactic. But she didn't even realize, like, that's not a good defense. That means you're guilty because Blake, Amber lied. It's been astonishing. Like, I just jumped off my live. We had 30,000.
In a fiery escalation, Blake Lively now finds herself at the heart of an intense controversy tied to It Ends With Us, both on screen and behind the scenes. Her updated legal filing introduces a dramatic twist. 2 anonymous castmates from the film are reportedly supporting her allegations against director and co-star Justin Baldoni, accusing him of deeply troubling behavior during production. While these actresses have yet to reveal their identities, they're allegedly ready to go public with their accounts. Curiously, The Hollywood Reporter has remained completely silent despite the scandal's explosive potential. Meanwhile, Piers Morgan, never one to shy away from drama, directed a scathing on-air critique at Lively during a live broadcast, delivering a ruthless verbal assault that left viewers stunned. Though Lively tried to respond, Morgan's fierce remarks temporarily left her at a loss for words. The altercation rapidly went viral, sparking a fierce debate among fans and commentators and quickly becoming one of the most talked about media moments in recent memory. All of this turmoil continues to unfold in the shadow of It Ends With Us, the screen adaptation of Colleen Hoover's emotionally charged 2016 novel. The story dives deep into complex and painful issues like domestic strife, love, and the trauma of abuse, with Lively portraying Lily Bloom, a woman caught in a romance that devolves into something much darker. Given the sensitive subject matter, promoting the film was always expected to require careful handling, but the rollout veered wildly off course. Critics say Lively's promotional choices missed the emotional depth of the source material, pointing to moments like her launching a new haircare line mid-press tour and introducing themed cocktails, including one controversially named While You Wait. A clear nod to the film's abusive male character. Many viewed these moves as out of touch and tone-deaf. What should have been a thoughtful, respectful campaign instead spiraled into a public relations disaster, with widespread backlash accusing the film's marketing of trivializing serious themes for the sake of flashy gimmicks. Still, Lively hasn't backed down. Beyond starring as the lead, she also served as a lead producer and emphasized her hands-on role, stating, "The work I did as a producer was far more all-consuming than anything I did playing Lily. I just did it all. There's nothing I didn't touch on this film. But Baldoni paints a starkly different picture, claiming Lively went too far, effectively reshaping the movie to fit her own vision, particularly a critical rooftop sequence. According to him, she leveraged her Hollywood clout by enlisting close friends like her husband Ryan Reynolds and global superstar Taylor Swift to influence the creative process. In a bizarre account, Baldoni describes being invited to Lively's luxurious New York penthouse to discuss the scene, only for Swift to unexpectedly show up and endorse Lively's version of the script. He alleges the move was strategic, trapping him in a corner surrounded by star power. With tensions still rising and no resolution in sight, one question looms large. Can it ends with us weather the storm and emerge intact?
About this picture that Ryan Reynolds posted last night. Yes, right after their very first pre-trial, Ryan posted this selfie of him and Blake on his Instagram stories, basically telling us there's nothing wrong, everything is fine. And I find it funny in Blake Lively's complaint, she says she has so much anxiety and pain from this smear campaign that she can't even go outside, which is obviously a lie because she's outside right now and smiling. And what annoys me the most is they've yet to put out an apology for anything. Any of those rude interviews, the blackface, not a single apology, but we know they know how to write apologies because they wrote one for Justin Baldoni, but they seem to be so privileged that they think we are all wrong. Like we are not all reading the same things they are reading, as if we don't have the evidence. We do. Like Baldoni's team took your 84-page complaint and tripled it. But I'm still patiently waiting on the amended filings from Blake Lively's team. They claim to have more evidence, so let's see what they didn't include.
If true, Blake Lively's alleged tactics weren't just bold creative suggestions. They were high-stakes power plays that reverberated across the entertainment world. According to Justin Baldoni, things took a darker turn when Lively reportedly used her close relationship with Taylor Swift to influence production decisions. He alleges that Lively implied Swift's haunting song, My Tears Ricochet, would only be cleared for the film's trailer if her creative vision was honored. To support his claim, Baldoni points to a text conversation with a Sony executive, suggesting Lively's approval of the trailer was tied to her editorial authority. If accurate, it paints a portrait of Lively deliberately leveraging her celebrity network to reshape the film to her preferences. And just when it seemed things couldn't get more intense, Baldoni brought forward another explosive accusation, claims of troubling behavior by Lively that date back to her time on the set of A Simple Favor. Rumors of bullying emerged, with insiders saying she contributed to a toxic work environment. Assistant director Barbara Seaman eventually stepped down, later stating that Lively's actions left her emotionally exhausted and deeply disillusioned. These past allegations have resurfaced and now loom over Lively's current legal entanglements, raising fresh concerns about how she interacts with both co-stars and crew. Making matters worse is a 2016 interview that has recently been unearthed and is aging poorly. Lively was portrayed as dismissive and sarcastic, particularly when discussing her role in cafe society and her pregnancy at the time. The journalist involved later described the interview as a nightmare filled with palpable tension, further amplifying criticism and adding fuel to her already strained PR campaign. Meanwhile, the legal battle between Lively and Baldoni has reached a fever pitch. Lively's attorneys attempted to obtain more time to submit additional evidence in her revised complaint, likely aimed at strengthening her claims, but the judge flatly denied the motion, emphasizing that the proceedings would not be delayed for added theatrics. Undeterred, Lively pressed forward, stating in her filing that several women on set had raised serious concerns about Baldoni's conduct. However, that assertion began to unravel quickly. Sources claimed Lively had privately cited actresses Jenny Slate and Isabella Ferreira as supporting voices, but insiders pushed back, insisting that wasn't the case. The contradiction drew scrutiny, particularly because Lively initially withheld the actresses' names to respect their privacy, only for them to be linked to the case publicly the following day. Lively's legal team claims both women gave permission to have their communications shared, but skeptics question whether they were thrust into the spotlight to reinforce Lively's position and divert attention from her own actions. And from Ryan Reynolds, whose behind-the-scenes involvement has also come under discussion. The entire ordeal has become a media circus. While Lively claims she's simply standing up for those who felt ignored or unsafe, critics accuse her of acting recklessly, warning that unproven accusations can irreparably damage reputations. What began as a film centered around emotional trauma has spiraled into a real-life saga of courtroom clashes, celebrity power dynamics, and rapidly shifting narratives. With the court refusing to allow delays and reputations hanging in the balance, one thing is undeniable. This drama is far from finished.
Blake No Teeth Lively has experienced yet another court loss. So she wanted to amend her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, right? The judge said, okay, cool, you have until Valentine's Day, February 14th. And now Blake Lively was like, oh, hold on, wait a minute, we're not ready to present yet. And she was asking for an extension until March 5th. And then the judge said, okay, why? And she's like, duh, because I'm Khaleesi and I said so. And then the judge was like, LOL, yeah, no, I'll give you until Monday. I'll give you a couple extra days. You have until Monday, but you don't have until March 5th. And so now she has until this upcoming Monday, which is February 17th, to figure out what she's going to amend in her complaint. And initially there were rumors that the amendment was going to come with some sort of statement from Jenny Slate, who played Justin Baldoni's sister in It Ends With Us. And so people were assuming that maybe Jenny was going to be some sort of star witness, that this was going to be the smoking gun. Maybe she had something that she witnessed that she was going to bring to the table, right? Well, then all the internet sleuths went and dug up an old interview that she did on the Anna Faris podcast where she basically pokes fun at hitting her ex-boyfriend, which doesn't really make her a strong star witness after all, which may possibly be why Blake's team is now asking for this extension, because what they were planning on bringing to.
As the legal firestorm surrounding It Ends With Us intensifies by the day, one thing is undeniable. This conflict is far from finished. A fresh wave of controversy has reportedly sent studio executives into a full-fledged panic, worried that the escalating feud between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni could completely derail the film's release. Behind the scenes, sources claim high-stakes meetings are taking place, with serious conversations about whether to postpone the premiere, rebrand the film entirely, or even shelve the project indefinitely. Executives are deeply concerned that the growing list of allegations, Baldoni's public rebuttals, and the backlash over the film's reportedly tone-deaf marketing campaign may drown out the powerful, emotional story at the core of the adaptation. Making matters worse, talk of a fractured production team has begun to surface. Some insiders allege that Lively has used her role as producer to push her own creative agenda, while others argue Baldoni is being unfairly targeted without solid evidence. In a twist that's adding even more intrigue, rumors have emerged suggesting that Hollywood power players, possibly including Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift, may be quietly influencing the situation from behind the scenes. With trust eroding and tensions boiling over, the fate of It Ends With Us now hangs in a delicate, uncertain balance.
Ruled on the Wayfarer party's request to squash subpoenas, and they got a big win, not a unilateral win, because the goddess of gaslighting did score a narrow victory as well. I've got the judge's ruling, and let's go over it together. All right, Judge Lyman writes, Wayfarer Studios, LLC, Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Steve Sarowitz, It Ends With Us Movie, LLC, Melissa Nathan, The Agency Group, and Jennifer Abel moved to squash subpoenas issued to cellular providers AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile by Blake Lively. For the reasons that follow, the motion is granted in part and denied in part. Lively served the subpoenas on or around February 12th. The subpoenas requested all documents concerning ingoing and outgoing calls or text messages related to telephone numbers belonging to certain Wayfarer parties and related individuals.
The legal firestorm surrounding It Ends With Us has erupted into an even more dramatic chapter, and this time, the stakes couldn't be higher. As the explosive feud between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni spirals further into chaos, new insider revelations threaten to upend everything. According to a source reportedly close to both stars, what appeared to be creative disagreements was actually a calculated power struggle filled with manipulation, secret deals, and strategic maneuvering. This anonymous insider allegedly possesses damning proof, emails, texts, even recorded conversations, that could reveal the truth about Lively's behind-the-scenes influence and Baldoni's reactions. If these materials are real and become public, they could either exonerate one party or devastate them both. In response, the studio is said to be scrambling to manage the fallout. Whispers of legal threats and discreet settlements suggest desperate attempts to keep these explosive revelations buried. But the drama doesn't stop there. In a stunning twist, betrayal might be coming from within Lively's own inner circle. Insiders claim that someone close to her has been leaking damaging information to the media, ranging from her alleged on-set conduct and confidential legal tactics to her efforts to steer the film's creative direction. The big question: who is the mole? Speculation points to a disgruntled crew member, a former confidant, or even a studio insider aiming to undermine Lively's authority. Sources say Lively is livid, aggressively tightening her inner circle and severing ties with those she suspects of disloyalty. Meanwhile, the studio is stuck in the middle of a mounting crisis, struggling to keep production on course while dodging leaks, lawsuits, and internal conflict. The chaos reached a new level when a top Sony executive, deeply involved with It Ends With Us, was reportedly caught holding private damage control meetings. According to new reports, this executive has floated the idea of cutting ties with certain cast or crew members to protect the film's release. When news of this reached Lively, the fallout was immediate. Sources say she felt deeply betrayed by the very studio she helped bring the project to life with, especially after investing herself so heavily as both lead actress and producer. Now, she's reportedly considering legal action if her role in the final cut is diminished or her visibility in the marketing campaign reduced. On the other side, Baldoni's camp has remained conspicuously silent, an eerie quiet that's fueling speculation he may be negotiating his own deal to separate himself from the turmoil before it swallows the film. Meanwhile, reports of a fractured crew persist. Some claim Lively is using her producer status to force her vision on the film, while others say Baldoni is being unfairly portrayed as the villain with little proof. Then came Baldoni's bold response. In a rare public statement, he accused Lively's team of launching a deliberate media strategy to control the narrative, tarnish his name, and cast her as a misunderstood heroine. His comments reignited fierce debate online, with fans and industry insiders divided, and even respected entertainment journalist Candace Owens chimed in, slamming the alleged behind-the-scenes games and questioning whether this scandal reflects a much deeper problem in Hollywood. Is this simply a high-profile PR battle, or are we witnessing something more revealing? A full-blown exposé on how celebrity influence, branding, and control can twist reality in the entertainment world? With the studio now in crisis mode, trust collapsing, and the film's release hanging by a thread, it's clear this is no longer just a film controversy. It's a Hollywood war, built on ego, control, and the ruthless politics of survival in an image-obsessed industry. And now the real questions come to the surface. Is Blake Lively genuinely advocating for mistreated cast and crew, or orchestrating a calculated power grab? Is Justin Baldoni being unfairly taken down, or are the allegations against him valid? As the tension escalates and more revelations loom, one thing is certain. This isn't the end of the It Ends With Us saga. It might only be the beginning. So what do you think? Is Lively defending the unheard, or crossing serious lines? Is Baldoni being silenced, or rightfully called out? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the latest in breaking Hollywood drama.